Hey, what's going on, people? Before I start this video, I have a message from our sponsors. From the culture of the American South, where roots hold stories, introducing the first foundational Black American product, deodorant, root work. And not for you buck dancing coons, not for you stepping fetching buck dancing coons like Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens. This is a foundational Black American deodorant made from the ancestors, from their actual DNA. Do not wear my deodorant if you're a buck dancing coon. And also check out the music by the Mink Slide, everybody. Check out Mink Slide. And also check out Microphone Check. Not playing in theaters at this moment because they're trying to sabotage my movie. But you could check out my movie, not on Amazon either. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you a copy of the movie for $50. And if you don't get your copy of the movie, don't call me on my show. Or don't call me on a Google Live asking me where your DVD is, because I don't fucking know. I'm not customer service. So, yeah, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. You dig? Hey, what's up, people? I'm back. So, earlier today, I was looking at Fox News. I like to look at Fox News and CNN to see what it is they're discussing, like what's both sides' view on this and that. And it was a segment where, you know, they were discussing Kamala Harris. I don't know if this was actually like a rerun, but it was just this discussion of, would Kamala Harris be worse as president than vice president, like Joe Biden? All of his well, I feel like everything Joe Biden is doing, he's just a puppet. You know, everybody's doing. I feel like Kamala Harris was really the president, and Joe Biden was just like the face of that. I mean, I thought that he would just probably, they'll push his ass down the stairs and she would just be president. Now, we're strange enough. I feel like this time, when if the election is actually rigged and she wins, then we could all really just say that, hey, this was really actually rigged. Like, no one really wants her to be president of anything, not even the president of a fast food restaurant. But it was this question I saw on a comment section where and they were looking at this Fox News live feed, and they were talking about, as president, would she help? Like, it was this long paragraph where they were going into detail about how the migrant crisis would be actually a lot worse as her being president. And you guys know I'm not necessarily indifferent to it. I just don't have much of a like a side, because all of the discrimination that I face, I just don't feel that I should tell anybody where they can't go. And I don't give a damn how much money they're getting individually coming here. It doesn't bother me at all. Now, yeah, the same government that won't give us reparations, and I don't expect them to. Yeah, they're coming to find, they found the money to give to people to come here. And let me just tell you this right now, because I know, some black people and some Hispanic people have tensions with each other. But let me just tell you this right now. I just think this is a way to replace black people. And you're not going to want to hear this, but what do you think was going to happen after 60 years of them attempting to help the black community? Now, they never have, and they never had no intention to help the black community. I mean, how are you going to take out the father in the home and then expect function to exist in our community? But they have given up in a way. I feel like when Joe Biden was president, they have given up on their attempts at changing the black community. From their all their attempts I mean, when's the last time you heard about, you know, like who do you think started the gang prevention programs and the gun, exchange programs for like a gift card where they were like they're trying to stop the violence in these inner cities, and they'll give you like a gift card for KFC if you hand in your gun or whatever. And I feel like they giving up because all of their attention is towards Hispanic people. If that wasn't the case, why are they bringing in so many in neighborhoods that black people live in? I'm telling you, it's just a way to replace us. Now, to be fair, I blame the culture. And let me tell you right now, I'm not Dr. Umar Johnson. There ain't no buck dancing on this channel. There ain't no tap dancing. I don't tap dance. I don't buck dance. Look at my videos. I'm not a buck dancing coon. But to be fair, what do you think was going to happen if Chicago, the South Side, where Hispanics are going, if all you do is kill, murder, sell drugs? Because I don't think it's much, and I'm not talking shit about anybody's city, but I don't think it's very much positivity living on the South Side of Chicago. If you go and ask the average person that question, they're going to say, don't come around here, don't live here. If you could say that, don't come to my city, don't come around here, it ain't nothing around here, then I should have the right to say that it's not worth risking your life living somewhere like that. But this is my thing. If they can have people live there who want to make a better life for themselves and raise their kids, I'm all for it. Because it doesn't make sense. Now, my solution would be changing the culture and bringing fathers back in the home. But it's like so much damage to our culture. You would need that father in his home. If he didn't have a father, how is he going to raise a family if he didn't have a father in his life? Think about that. You can't raise a family if you didn't have a father in your life. But I feel that with black people, you need to change the culture. We need fathers in the home, and we just need to be more of a community that relies on education. Education, and we need to be more of an intellectual community, and we need to be a community that's more politically, aware. Because I myself, it's a lot of things I'm not really aware of, but we need a political re-education on a lot of things. If you don't understand the basics of politics, do not vote. But back to Hispanic people, I don't have a problem with them coming because I don't have the right to tell anybody where they can and can't go. Now, yeah, they're not going to any of these liberal neighborhoods like where they live. They're not going where Kamala Harris' family stays or the judge stays or their lawyers stay. They're not living there. They're living with black people. But I'm just saying that if the Chicago, for example, if they had 1 year a murder rate of 800 people, right? And I feel that a lot of that can change if you change the culture and put fathers in the home. But I feel like this, my solution would change the whole black America like overnight. If you would just everybody stop having kids that they can't raise, they put fathers back in the home, made it against the law to stop having kids out of wedlock, stop being unmarried with children, that would change the black community. But I don't think that's going to happen. But this is my point I'm making. If that's not going to change, what is the harm in somebody coming here who is trying to make a better life for themselves? Now, like I said, I don't really I don't really I gave it a lot of thought one day, it's Hispanic people who I know don't really care for black people. I'm aware of that. I know it's Hispanic people who don't like us, but overall, they're not worried about me and what I'm doing. So I just look at it both ways. I'm not trying to stop them from doing what they're doing. You know, um, now I know there are Hispanics that are here illegally and they're against people come here illegally. I'm not trying to stop nothing. I'm just sort of at this point, um, you know, I just feel you should go wherever you want to go. I don't care if it's legal or illegal. Go where your mind tells you to go. But all I'm saying is if somebody is trying to come here with a family and they don't want to kill or sell drugs or rob anybody, what's the harm in them coming in a neighborhood where they can just make a better life for themselves? Because if the people that were originally there, they're not, if you haven't seen a change in the culture, like you type in 1994 Chicago, it won't be very different than today. We're talking 30 years ago. It's really the same shit. And if you don't see much of a change, it's like, what's the point? And what's the point? You know, the most you could really do is just do what I just said: put fathers in the home, stop having kids out of wedlock, and change the culture. That's not going to happen. But it's pretty obvious that the Hispanic is being catered to a lot more than the black man and woman. And I'm just saying that it's been 1960, the 60s, all that time we had is ran out. It's time we just stop relying. I don't rely on anybody, but don't rely on these so-called liberals for anything. Do for self. And, just take advantage of the opportunities that we have that our ancestors didn't have. But people of Chicago, just understand that you're being replaced because of the time that you were given to change. And, it's just the same shit every year. I think last holiday, Chicago had like 100 shootings. That's the shit I'm talking about. If they were to make Chicago like the South Side, like Los Angeles is, and it's not violent, people aren't killing each other, people can respect where everybody lives, you're not throwing trash on the ground, it's not graffiti everywhere. I don't see the harm in making Chicago like LA. Just speaking logically here. Because if it's not going to be any change and it's the south side of Chicago, I don't see the point in going against the migrants if you're not going to change your culture. If it's going to just be the same south side Chicago that it's been for decades, what's the point in really going at them? I mean, I said this before about like conservatives, that they don't like it when other people are what was I saying about conservatives? Oh yeah, with Kyle Rittenhouse, when he was protecting his well, so-called, he wasn't supposed to be carrying that fucking gun, but when he was protecting that business that was about to be looted. And I've been to Kenosha before, it's not too far from Milwaukee. It's not that he wanted to protect the business, it was more of he didn't want people from Milwaukee, he didn't want black people from Milwaukee coming and destroying Kenosha. That's just what it was. He didn't really give a fuck if people were going to riot or not. It's just he didn't want black people going to Kenosha, tearing up where his father lived. That's all that was about. And I'll say the same about Chicago. It's not that you care about, you know, I mean, let me be really careful with my words. It's not that you're concerned about where you live. Because if you did care about where you live, you would not allow people to throw trash on the ground or, you know, throw like paint graffiti on the walls or kill each other. I mean, how can you say you care about where you live? I'm not saying all people from Chicago, but how can you say you care about where you live and your murder rate, your South Side is the worst? The murder rate, I said at one point, was like 800 in 1 year. But if you really cared about where you live, you would not allow the shit that I just talked about go on. You only care when someone that doesn't look like you is coming in and they're getting, benefits that you probably didn't receive. But I'm saying you allowed that to happen by not taking care of where you live. If you respect your neighbor, you don't allow trash on the ground, you don't allow graffiti on the ground, you don't allow and you raise your kids the right way, you make sure they have fathers in their life, this would not happen. But they see that you don't respect yourself. You don't respect where you live. You don't respect anything about people that look like you. So yeah, they're going to allow people from different countries to come in and take all the resources that you should be getting. And I blame the people of Chicago for this to happen because you allowed this to happen.